You're listening to the Cryptid Creature Show. If you're a fan of the show, go and check out our new Patreon site. You'll get access to our private Discord server, exclusive merchandise, access to all live streams and Q&As, discounts on merch from the Cryptid Creature store, and get a chance to be a guest host during one of the show's recordings. Just go to www.patreon.com/Cryptid Creatures. Thank you for listening and supporting the show.
This is the Cryptid Creature Show. I am Brian, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Todd. What's up, buddy?
Brian, tonight, as you know, we're going to do another missing episode.
Oh, we haven't done one of those in a long time.
We have not. We do these about every, 30 to 50 episodes or something like that. Years? Yeah, we try to squeeze these in once in a while for the listeners. I know a lot of people like these, and
some people like them.
We like doing them as well. I mean...
Yep. Yeah, they're interesting.
We like to talk about people who've gone missing in the wilderness, mountains, what have you, in strange circumstances that could lead to paranormal experiences, whether it be alien or Bigfoot abduction or something crazy to that effect.
Or they just got lost. We don't know. That's why we do this.
So,
for you, the audience, to decide.
Correct. And we like to hear your feedback, too. If you guys know anything about it.
Absolutely. Somebody out there may have more insight into this, one of these stories. We don't know.
Yeah. We'd hope to bring one of these to conclusion if we could, right?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be the greatest thing ever, right?
Yeah.
So, again, we do these once in a while. We've probably got 8 or 10 of them out there, maybe.
Something around there. I don't remember.
But we like to bring these out and do these. So, tonight, Brian, as you know, we're going to talk about Todd Hofflander. And he went missing...
in Idaho.
Out in the wilderness. So,
in Hell's Canyon.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Where is that in Idaho? Do we know? I got to check that out on a map real quick.
Yeah. Let's find that out. It's down by Snake River. So I don't know where exactly that's at, but we do such good research on this show.
We do. So, yeah, Hell's Canyon. Something happened to this dude. He came up missing, and nobody knows the circumstances. But I guess they're weird. So that's why we want to check it out and do the show. So...
It's Idaho. I mean...
Idaho is a beautiful state.
Oh, it's gorgeous, yeah.
I've only been to Boise, not northern Idaho, but I hear that's beautiful up there.
Yep, that's what I've heard too.
That stuff. So
one of these days we'll get out there.
Definitely, for sure. Coeur d'Alene and all that stuff is what.
Oh yeah, that's where we got to go up there, up north. So. Up north.
With that, Brian, why don't you take us into the story of Todd Hofflander and tell us what you've got there in front of you, brother?
Todd William Hofflander disappeared September 27th, 2010, in the Windy Saddle area of Idaho County, Idaho. Remains discovered April 26, 2020. So, got your little map out. See where all that's at.
Okay, so they did find his remains 10 years later. You said, tell me the place again. Not Hell's Canyon.
The Windy Saddle area of Idaho County, Idaho.
Mountain Pass. Okay. Yeah, he's out in the middle of nowhere, dude. He's totally out in the middle of nowhere. What were they doing out there? Did it say? I guess we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it. We'll get to there in just a minute.
I'd say he's about, you know where he is? He's exactly east, probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours, as the crow flies, as they say, of Pasco, Washington.
Oh, okay. Well, we know where that's at.
Into Idaho. So he's northern Idaho for sure. South of Coeur d'Alene, but yes, that's where he's at. So continue, my friend.
Right.
Sorry.
Todd William Hofflander, 39, was last seen in the Windy Saddle area of Idaho County, Idaho, on Tuesday, September 27th, 2010. He and a friend were hiking there, and they decided to separate and take different paths through Hell's Canyon to the Snake River. He never arrived at his destination and was never seen alive again. Nearly 10 years later, in April 2020, remains assumed to be Todd's were discovered. In late January 2021, DNA testing confirmed the identity of the remains as being Todd Hofflander. Hell's Canyon was indeed hell for Todd. The hunting trip to Hell's Canyon. So it was a hunting trip, apparently.
Okay.
Todd was helping some friends scout mule deer bucks between Windy Saddle and McAfee Cabin. The group of friends planned a 4-day hike. The group split up on the 4th day, September 27th, and Todd vanished. He was last seen at McGaffey Cow Camp. The area has very rough, steep terrain with elevations ranging from 8,000 to 1,500 feet above sea level in short distances. He took his black Labrador Retriever Ruby on his hike. Hofflander lived in Lucille, Idaho at the time of his disappearance. He was an experienced hiker and was sufficiently prepared for an overnight trip. He was carrying a pistol of unknown caliber with 5 bullets. He also had a Bic lighter, 2 packs of Lipton red beans and rice, 3 jugs of water, 2 cans of chicken, Chewy bars and pots, and a 15-degree bright red sleeping bag. Minus 15-degree bright red sleeping bag. It is estimated that his pack weighed 50 pounds. He had no radio or cell phone. Ruby the dog was wearing a red doggy backpack. Todd wore a green t-shirt with a white design on the front, blue jeans, a blue baseball cap, size 10 Solo hiking boots, and a gold wedding band. He was carrying a camouflage print backpack. He had a mustache, a goatee, and 4 scars in his left ear from a previous piercing. Scars on his groin, along his backbone, and on his forehead at the hairline. He had tattoos, the head of Jesus and the word saves on the right side of his chest, a buffalo skull on the left side of his chest, the cartoon character Wile E. Coyote on his right bicep, an eagle on his left bicep, the words Thug Life across his abdomen, the word King across his shoulder blades, and a small circle between his right thumb and index finger. Todd Hofflander goes missing. When Todd failed to show up at noon on September 28, 2010, his friends notified the authorities, and a search and rescue operation started. Backcountry medics out of Orofino and a helicopter from Hillcrest Aircraft Company assisted early in the search. The helicopter flew grid searches of Bernard Creek, Bills Creek, Lightning Creek, and the east and west branches of Sheep Creek, McAfee Basin, and Bear Basin. In addition, dog teams from Idaho and Clearwater counties search and rescue teams joined the operation. An incident command post was set up at Heaven's Gate Lookout and manned by personnel from the Sheriff's Department in Idaho and Clearwater counties. Despite an extensive search, no sign was found. Ruby the dog. After a fruitless search after the disappearance, with hope fading fast, the dog Ruby was found in the woods a few days later, dehydrated but otherwise in good condition. Ruby was found near milestone 15 on Seven Devils Road, south of Riggins. She was located opposite the Seven Devils mountain range from where Hofflander was last seen. Searchers tried to get her to lead them to Todd, but with no success. After finding the dog, searchers combed the nearby area, but found nothing, according to a post by New Boots of Idaho on a forum. So, you would think, labs are good dogs, right? And they're hunting dogs, and if you raise them right, they're built for that. So, if they found his dog, why wouldn't his dog want to go back and try and look for him?
So the thing that surprises me is a dog's not going to leave his owner unless something detrimental has happened and it knows it has to go, right? We know this. And
right.
For him to take his dog doing what he's doing in that expedition and everything, that dog spent time with him and knew him very well and would not have left his side.
Right.
You don't. Last thing you want to deal with is a dog that's you've got to like babysit if you're going to be out hiking. Like my dogs are pretty good. They'll just go on the lead on the trail, but you know the one if she sees something else she'll start barking. But doing what he's doing, you got a dog like that, and especially a lab. Labs are dedicated dogs, right?
Oh yeah,
They're some of those dedicated dogs in the world. If it was a poodle or something like that, I can see like, I'm out of here, you know.
Yeah.
That
dog would never go out in the woods with me.
This dog knew that something happened to this guy, or it lost this guy, or it could not find this guy. Well, that tells me that,
or something happened that scared the living bejesus out of that dog.
Which I was going to say, something else was involved. Mm-hmm. That made this dog realize that he knows his owner's not coming
he's
back.
Gone. Right.
Or he lost him and he can't find him and the owner's not responding. Anyway, why did he split up again?
Todd's wife said that the hunting group had split up because her husband's knee was bothering him and they were supposed to meet down at the river.
Okay.
My husband never showed up down at the river. She said the group thought her husband could make it on his own, otherwise they wouldn't have left him. She felt her husband start to make his way toward the meeting place, but possibly got turned around because of the injury. Which doesn't make any sense to me.
Doesn't either. To me either.
Especially if he's an experienced hiker and hunter.
So, you know where I'm going here. Sounds like his buddies were in on it. Sounds like the people he was hunting with may have done this to him.
Yeah, the farther I get into this, I think you're right.
Go ahead and keep going, though. We are all listening, brother.
Discovery of the remains in April 2020. On Sunday, April 26, 2020, the Idaho County Sheriff's Office and the Idaho County Coroner were notified a hunter found what appeared to be the remains of a human skull above Bernard Creek. The hunter located other items in the area, including a pack containing camping equipment and a digital camera. 8 personnel from the Idaho County Sheriff's Office were taken by jet boat to the mouth of Bernard Creek by Kilgore Adventures. They then hiked approximately 1 mile in, where they located a portion of a human skull and other skeletal remains. They also found hunting gear and a pack that Hofflander's wife positively identified as belonging to her husband. Officers recovered the photographs from an SD card back in the pack, which belonged to Hofflander. The authorities said that everything found at the scene indicated that the remains were Todd's. The Idaho County Coroner, Cody Funk, sent the bones to the Ada County Coroner in Boise for evaluation and DNA testing. In late January 2021, the human remains that were found in the area of the Seven Devils and Bernard Creek in April 2020 were positively identified as Todd Hofflander by County Coroner Cody Funk. The remains were identified by the FBI using DNA analysis. What happened to Todd Hofflander? Did he stumble because of his injury? How did he end up so far from the point where he left the rest of his hunting group? Were Todd's friends somehow involved in his disappearance? Although Ruby was discovered alive, the dog got separated from Todd or left his body. So,
do we know how many miles or how far away it was where they found his remains versus where they found Ruby, or where he broke away from the group?
Well, I have a statement from the people that found the dog. Let's look. My husband and I were the ones who found Ruby on Friday. We stopped for lunch at a parking area for hunters about mile 15. We did see where she came from. She came downhill and sat near the fence and cattle guard, growling at us, whining, and pacing. That sounds like a scared dog.
Where was that at? Did it say?
It doesn't say it.
Okay.
It just says, it doesn't say. We had our mini dachshund with us. She was obviously scared. My husband was concerned it could be a wild dog or even ill, but I persisted that it was probably Todd's dog. If not, she was close to a dead ringer for the dog. We later asked several hunters we saw in the area to confirm we weren't taking someone else's dog. We tried unsuccessfully to get her to come to us. Most likely because our dog was barking. My cell phone had coverage but a low battery. I called the manager at the Best Western because the number was in my phone and asked her the name of Todd's dog. I'd seen the posters but didn't remember her name. Another truck pulled in about that time and the people in it were taking pictures. When I called to Ruby, their dog jumped out of their truck and frightened her. We got to talking with them and we all agreed it could be Ruby. They had dog food, water, and dishes. And when we put them down and called her again, she came bounding, tail between her legs, but happy. We petted her and asked her, "Where's Todd?" She became very excited and danced all around, jumping up to my shoulders and licking my face. It was rather emotional. We called out many times for Todd, and later my husband and I explored the area a bit more, but to no avail. We were not equipped for a detailed search. Since we were on ATVs, the other couple offered to take her down to Riggins. I called back to the hotel and they got the sheriff to meet them when they arrived. We left our names and information when we arrived, but the deputy never came to speak to us. I have videos when we first saw her, and I took pictures to show where we found her also. Granted, it was just on the road, but my husband did see her coming down near the fence. So she may have been up the hill a ways. He has a bad knee, and although he said his first instinct would be to go down to a river where someone would find him, he said with a bad knees, going up hurts less. That makes sense. I later inquired if there was an emergency phone at the lookout, but no one seemed to know. We found her just a few miles southeast of the lookout, but that is steep country around it. I have a bad knee also and didn't have the energy to climb to it that day. We used to have a dog who would hunt 4 to 5 miles out from us and always returned. So we're hopeful for Todd. Searching on Google Earth, it appeared there is a small pond just up from where we found the dog. That makes sense since she didn't seem dehydrated, just hungry, although she drank too. We have just been praying for a good outcome for this search and will continue to do so. I am also trying to find out how to get the pictures and video to his wife and brother if they want them. The approximate spot where we found her. And then they give some coordinates. It would be just north of that about, some more coordinates. It looked like it could be a small pond, but could possibly be rocks.
So I'm looking right now. They said they found her around Riggins, and I'm seeing where that's at. Right. That's about where Todd and his group started out. And one thing I'll say about dogs is this.
Okay.
And you know this too. If they're dedicated to their owner, right, which they are, and the owner takes them out,
right,
especially a lab.
Mm-hmm.
If something happens to said owner, whether they perish or they become missing, that dog is not going to leave that area. Mm-hmm. He's not going to venture very, very far away. He might trek out about 3 miles or 5 miles, but he's not going to leave that area unless he has to get to other people, and that's a town down the road, right?
Right.
You agree with that? I would think our listeners agree with that, right?
I think most people that have a dog would agree with that, yeah.
Right. So where did they find this dude's remains at? Do you remember where you said they found his remains at?
It was a Windy Saddle area of Idaho County, Idaho. Hell's Canyon to the Snake River.
Okay. So not super far away, but I'll tell you this much.
Wherever Hell's Canyon was, how much ground did that dog cover? Well, that we know of.
I mean, it's possible. Very possible. Going back to the remains, and I apologize if you mentioned this. Did it mention any kind of? It was 10 years later, right? They found this dude.
Yep.
Right. So
Yep.
just skeletal remains, right?
Yeah.
Did
Yep.
it mention if they were intact? If it was?
No, they said they were scattered skeletal remains.
So leads me to believe that maybe we should dig into this guy's background a little bit. Maybe his buddies, maybe they did him in, right? I mean, they could have done him in.
Yeah, it's possible.
Maybe he knew something he shouldn't have, and they went on a little hunting trip, and the dog's not going to say anything, right?
Well, anything's happened. Anything could be possible. I mean, he could have been having an affair with one of his buddy's wives. It could have been anything. Could have been
Hunting
anything.
accident gone wrong, and they didn't want to talk about it. Just let it go.
That could be too. That happens. Probably more often than anybody cares to admit.
Or, as we always say, something could have went awry, and there could have been an encounter with some kind of strange creature.
Or, yeah, especially up there that far in Idaho.
I wonder if they talked to his buddies, his hunting buddies. Does it say?
It doesn't say that.
Anything about that?
That's surprising. Yeah, it doesn't say anything.
We've had that before. I think Tom, I forget the guy's last name. One of our first missing episodes, the old guy went hunting with his family and came up missing. And
Just says, were his friends somehow involved?
it's hard to tell. I mean, when you get
That's
into
one thing I don't know. It didn't dig into that, and we should find out. We should look into that some more and see.
But the weird thing is, though, as we always say with this stuff, it always happens out in the woods.
Well, yeah.
It's always out in the mountains. It's not. I mean, yeah, we could do a missing episode on somebody in the inner city of New York, but geez, what?
Yeah.
Where do we start?
Right.
But for these people to go missing out in the wilderness like this, yeah, this one probably makes me wonder if it wasn't
this one is
human related, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
We've never really kind of gone there at this point, but I think this should be reopened if it's not solved. Obviously, it's not solved.
I don't think it's solved. No.
And I would be talking to these guys. They would have had to interview these guys, right?
I would think
They would have had to interview them.
and that should all be public record, so that should be easy to find.
They should have, done the old lie detector test on them too, I guess.
They probably didn't do that.
Did it say how many guys he was up there with? I forget.
4, I think. Todd was helping some friends scout mule deer between. It's the planned 4-day hike. The group split up on the 4th day, and Todd vanished. See, when groups split up like that's a red flag.
Why
for
are
me.
you splitting up?
Yeah, it's if you're in the middle of nowhere.
Makes no sense why he split up.
In a group, and there's nothing, if anything, wild animals out there.
This dude was, what, 39, right? Back in 2000, 39? Or
Yeah, he was 39
or 2010, right?
2010. He was 39. Yeah,
So he's kind of our age.
yeah. Be a year or two younger.
2010, we'd have been like 40. So, yeah, I mean, our knees could have hurt too a little bit, but still, I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, he could have had some kind of injury or some football, or maybe he fell before when he was hunting. You never know.
So no
But that's
possible
just-
autopsy on the skeleton.
To me, yeah. What are you going to do?
Yeah,
I mean, you can look for teeth marks, knife marks, maybe a bullet mark, but by 10 years later,
and did they find all of
gonna
it?
be-
God, yeah,
that's
there's so
just
many
going to be hard to
questions
find.
that pop in my head. Did they find all of his equipment with him? Was it just some of the equipment?
Well, the camera and stuff were still in the bag, so I would guess that most of it was probably in there.
All right. So what do you
It
think?
doesn't really say. I mean, this article is very vague. It doesn't really give a whole lot of detail of.
Based on what you've read, what you've told us, what do you think happened to him, Brian? What's your theory on this? Go ahead.
At first I was hoping it was going to be maybe a cryptid kind of thing, but now I think it's just stupid people.
You think he was humanly disposed of?
Yeah, I think something happened with his
buddies?
group that he was with, and somebody didn't like him, or something happened.
So anybody knowing about this case, or heard about this case, or related to this case in any way, if you guys know that Todd Hofflander, the guys he was hunting with, we're not talking a long time ago, right? We're talking...
Yeah, it's not 10 years, 5 years.
15 years ago?
Well, 15 years ago.
15 years ago. I mean...
Yeah. 5 years ago when they found his...
How far in detail did we get with these guys? And,
because I know we have some listeners in Idaho. So.
I mean, if you're cops, you're going to separate these guys and you're going to talk to them one-on-one. You're going to get their story, right? So obviously their story matched up. So
well, they also had 10 years or however long before they got back, before they called the police. They had to get their story straight. So,
I mean, it could have been a mountain lion, maybe. No, the dog would have. No, see, that's what I'm saying. The dog would have been scratched up. So
or dead. Or they would have,
if anything would have taken this dude,
a bear or a mountain lion or something.
If there was anything that could have taken this dude that the dog could have defended, unless it wasn't around when this guy was scooped up.
Plus, he had a gun.
Let's just throw this out there, man. An 8 to 10 foot Bigfoot comes running along, and you're out hunting and you piss it off. We've heard this before.
Yeah.
If there's a hunter out there with a gun and they try to engage, that thing can just rip you down from your stand, whatever you're at. Take your gun. The story about the guy, I'm not going to remember the podcast it was on, but the story about the guy who was hunting, they found this dude stuffed in under the dashboard of the passenger side of his truck.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah,
and his rifle was bent. In half, like bowed, like something bent that rifle. There's nothing out there there's nothing human out there that can do that.
Right, and no bear is going to do that.
You have to have hands to do that.
Yep.
So
and be incredibly strong.
Right. So I mean, maybe this guy got into some trouble when he was out there, and
that could be too. I mean, I'm not going to rule that out, but. From the sound of this article, I don't know.
It could have been human. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
It could have been human?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I believe it. Could have been. So again, we say go back to the guys that he was hunting with. Talk to
because you can't say. I mean, if we're out there with 4 or 5 other people, and you're like, I'm not. My knee's hurting or whatever. I'm going to take this other way. I'll meet you guys down there. I'm not going to let you go alone.
No, and I'm not going to meet you down at the river. I'm going to meet you back at the campground.
Right.
Because my knee hurts and I'm done hunting for the day. Why would I go down to the river?
Yeah.
Right?
So
I think this case should be reopened, Brian. I really do.
I think it should too, because
this is why we do this stuff.
There's a lot of holes in their story.
Is it? I mean, it's obviously open as a cold case, I'm sure.
Is it? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's still labeled.
How do we check into that? Just Google it or something like
that? Yeah, I think it's, we can just go to whatever the Idaho records is.
Tell you what.
It's got to be public record.
Here's what I'm going to throw out there. Listeners, if you guys check this out for us, there's a lot of you guys out there that are into this more than we are. We're more on the Bigfoot cryptid side, but if you guys want to Google this and see what you guys think about Todd Hofflander.
True crime stuff, so.
And we'd love to hear. Email us info@cryptidcreatures.co. Check out our website, cryptidcreatures.net. Get a hold of us and let us know.
Message us on Instagram, message us on Facebook, whatever you want to do. Just get a hold of us.
Yeah, let us know what you guys are finding out about this case. Maybe there's somebody out there that
I know we got some listeners in Idaho, so somebody's probably got firsthand knowledge of this.
Or
case.
maybe you guys know the closure to this. Maybe you guys can tell us what's going on, and then we can update that for our listeners too. So
yeah, we love doing updates.
Yeah. All right, cool, man. Well, hey,
heck yeah,
another cool missing episode with you, brother.
Yeah, man. Always fun. Always learning.
Hopefully our listeners will reach back out.
It's always fun to try and put the pieces together. I like
this stuff, I
Yep.
do. I like this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But, we're here for the Bigfoots, but it could be involved with this. So
you never know. Yeah. Like us, or northern Idaho, we know who lives there.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And other things. So
among other things, yeah.
All right, listeners, thank you guys so much for being here with us tonight. Again, please check it out. Give us your thoughts about this case. And if you haven't listened to our other missing episodes, go check those out too. You'll see them. They always say missing episode at the beginning on our feed. If you're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts, we're out there. Just search us Cryptid Creatures. Please let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brother, cool hanging out with you and doing this missing episode again.
Always fun, man. Always learning.
All right, brother. Until next time, are you ready to get out of here?
Yep. See ya.